Honey, If It Wasn't For You by Barron. Illustrated by Callie Ward. This is the true story of a song by Don Fagen and me. He wrote the words and I wrote the music. But this wasn't your average partnership. That's because Don died in 1981, 6 years before I was even born. To the outside world, Don Fagen seemed ordinary enough. He had a wife he loved, a beautiful home, and a passion for music. But Don's life wasn't what it seemed. Every day he struggled with a disease that made it increasingly difficult to breathe. Daily activities exhausted him, and there was no cure to be found. Don had known from the time he was young that he wouldn't live as long as most. He had, in fact, already exceeded expectations simply by surviving to adulthood. Still, Don was determined to live a full life. When he was 24 years old, Don married a beautiful woman named Linda. They knew their marriage would be difficult, but resolved that their love was worth the burdens they would bear. Linda and Don wanted to live normal lives, so while she went off to her own job, Don stayed home to work too. His job was composing songs for famous musicians to record. But he also had ideas of his own. In his spare time, Don wrote songs just for himself. As time wore on, living with Don's disease became more challenging. Then in 1981, at age 38, Don passed away. Linda was heartbroken. Going through his belongings, she found boxes of his song lyrics. The thought of opening the boxes was too much for her, so she put them out of sight, where she wouldn't have to think about them. For decades, those boxes sat untouched, and they might have stayed that way, if not for a fateful visit to a concert many years later. Sitting in the audience of a grand performance hall, Linda watched in awe as a young musician named Barron played the piano. His music touched her heart, and she arranged for him to play for a party at her home. Impressed even more, Linda then arranged for Barron to perform a small concert at her home, and then a concert at the university where she and Don had met. Linda and Barron spoke often, and went from being host and hired musician to being close friends. Barron appreciated Linda's encouragement and gracious spirit, and she admired his skill and dedication. In truth, he reminded her a little of Don. Then an idea struck Linda. What if Don's work could give Barron the inspiration to write new music? So for the first time in 40 years, she opened the boxes she'd put away and read Don's lyrics. Then she gave them to Barron, not knowing what he would do with them. Box by box, paper by paper, Barron dug through Don's work. He found songs about friendship, going fishing, and visiting the local watering hole. But he wasn't looking for those. He was looking for lyrics about Linda. Finally, Barron found those lyrics in a song called Honey, If It Wasn't For You. Reading Don's words, a melody immediately jumped into Barron's head. It came so quickly, he couldn't write it down fast enough. Barron felt exhilarated to set Don's words to music, and honored that Linda would entrust him with this responsibility. He could hardly wait to share Don's and his song with her. Honey, If It Wasn't For You premiered to an audience of one. Barron was excited but nervous. Linda's was the only opinion of this song that really mattered to him. He need not have worried. Linda told Barron that his music brought Don's words to life. It was as if the lyrics and tune had been created together, not separated by a 40-year distance. Now you know the story of this special song. It fills me with a sense of gratitude for love, for friendship, and for all the ways that music fills our souls and enriches our lives. I hope that you can feel in my melody what I felt in Don's words, the deep love he had for Linda and their life together. That's the heart of Honey If It Wasn't For You, and it is that love I hope you will share with everyone who has helped shape you.